Welcome to the show and a wrap of the ANZ Championship Round 9 action that saw the Southern Steel tip over the defending champs, the Magic, to put themselves well in contention come finals time. The Firebirds picked up a handy away win over the Vixens. A much better fight put up by the Swifts this week, but the same result, another loss. The tactics hardly made the fever sweat, and the Pulse pulled away from the Mystics in the second half and stayed there. Well, Janine, have the Steel played a better 15 minutes of netball than that second quarter at the weekend?
It's hard to beat that one, isn't it? And, I think just built on the back of some really strong team defence work and then making sure on attack, I think we really nailed our passes and did the work that we needed to do to get the ball into the shooters.
And at this standard, chasing a 9 or 7 goal lead even is hard, so you set them a very tough task in the second half.
Yeah, we did, but like lots of teams have shown that they can pull in leads, and that's happened in many games, so we were really conscious that they would come back at us, and I think it showed real determination and calmness under pressure from our girls to withstand those couple of challenges they threw at us at different times in the rest of the match.
Lots of good phases throughout the whole court. What was the best for you? What was the best part of improvement of the side?
Look, there was a couple of held balls on the Magic, and I think what for me that shows is a real determination of the whole team to do their jobs individually on defence and shut down all the options, and when you've got all your team doing that, it's really hard for the opposition. So from that perspective, the other perspective that I was really pleased with is the way that Jodie stepped up her game. I thought, lots of people have been making comments we're a one-person team, and that's just not the case. We know that Jodie's a quality player and that she would step up when she needed to, and she needed to the other day, and she did.
And you got fared so well. I thought Courtney's perhaps her best game in Steel colours?
Absolutely, and Courtney really was involved in the game, which is what we needed to do. She drove hard onto the circle edge and put some quality feeds into the shooters.
And the defensive unit, I thought as a whole, performed very well.
They did. We might not have got a whole lot of turnovers from an intercept perspective, but we shut them down and frustrated them, and to do that to a quality team like the Magic is really satisfying.
How comfortable were you through that last quarter? Because the lead, they trimmed the lead, but they never really threatened it.
Yeah. Look, thinking back, I felt reasonably comfortable. I would have been obviously really disappointed if we didn't take it, having led for so long and played so well. So, I think you always have a few nervous moments and think, what are we doing here? But the resolve in the team is really strong, and that's something that's been, just growing over the season. So I thought, I particularly probably the last couple of minutes, I thought, no, they're not going to do it now.
I hate to use a cliche, but you have raised the bar every single week.
We have, and we've got to keep doing that because it just gets tougher. The Melbourne Vixens in Melbourne this weekend is even tougher than what we've just had. So, we know that the style of umpiring is quite different to what we get here, and we're going to have to adjust. We're the ones that have to adjust, and we have to be prepared and mentally and physically ready to take on the Vixens, because they'll throw everything they can. They had a big loss at the weekend, so they'll be hurting, and they'll be wanting to get back out and prove that they deserve to be there too.
How do you prepare for the umpiring though? Because it's really what happens at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah, I think from our perspective, it's about being aware of it and knowing their interpretations of what they're likely to look for. So we have to be cleaner than what we are here, and just maybe change our angles slightly, maybe just, make sure that if we're getting pulled a couple of times, we then get out of the umpire's eye so it doesn't become a continual thing.
And you've got to deal with the psychological aspect, not to be focused too much on that and get on with actually playing your normal game.
Yeah, totally. It's a tricky one, but I think it's awareness more than anything else. We're not going out to change everything we do, but we just need to be aware. We were over there in pre-season and had, I think we experienced every umpire that Australia's got over there, and there was a few things that got us, but I think we've definitely worked on those, and I'd like to think that there'll be an improvement at this weekend in that.
Tactically, you didn't make any changes to the weekend, did you?
No, and I think sometimes as a coach you just feel that what was happening out there was right, and I felt those girls deserved the opportunity to finish what they started. And I know we've got a really strong bench, we've got players putting their hand up week in, week out, and it's a really tough call as a coach to be in, but I guess I'm a little bit privileged that I have got the luxury of a couple of players that will come off the bench and still add to what's happening on court.
Well, there's no sign of them sort of getting back at you, is there? So there's really no need to change what's working well.
At this stage, no, but you've still got to keep putting pressure on those girls on court to keep performing, and that's what these girls on the sideline have been doing in, week out, and that's what I need them to keep doing too.
The term must win is always overused, I believe, but in terms of, I think, of your propulsion into semi-final contention and your confidence to beat any Australian team, a win this weekend is a big thing.
It is huge, and it's doable, and it's got to come from us to do that.
was amazing to beat the Magic, premiers last year, and they're a great side, and throughout the week we had a lot of respect for them, but on the court we showed what we're worth.
Big question for the defence is, could you shut down Irene and co? You managed that?
Yeah, at times we did. Sometimes we were probably a bit patchy down our D end, but all in all you'd say that we did a good job of shutting their attacking down and disrupting a lot of their attacking plays.
Turning point wasn't the third quarter, it was the second, wasn't it?
Yeah, second quarter was a big one for us, getting up by that many goals and carrying on and being able to seal out the game against such a a huge team of big names. So for us, it's another tick in the box and another lots of encouragement for us.
It changes your belief, isn't it, in what you're able to achieve?
Yeah, I think a lot of people are like that now. There's a lot of hype around it all, which is really exciting for us. But we've got to keep our, our focus and not get too ahead of ourselves, and just still game by game. And obviously, right from the start, we've wanted to make the top four, but we've had to, play some good netball. And if we can carry on doing that, then it's certainly in reach.
Hype turns to expectation, though, for the fans, doesn't it? Once you start winning, you're expected to keep doing so.
Yeah, we sure are, but I think we'll put a bit of hype on ourselves with that. But at the same time, we don't want to get too confident and get above ourselves. So, as I said, just game by game and making sure that we train hard and work on the things and areas we need to.
Completely different prospect as playing an Australian team in Australia, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess it's a big one for us. Still haven't won in Aussie yet, and I've been in so many games that we haven't been able to do that. So each time we go over there, we feel like we have got the team to win and we've prepared well. So let's just hope this time it's something different.
Was it good or bad the Vixens lost at the weekend? They'll be inspired, won't they?
Yeah, I'd say bad. I think after a loss you have a better look at yourselves and each other, and I think that they'll come back really strong. I would have preferred them winning, but that's just how it goes, and we need to start right from the start, and hopefully if we're confident and start well, then we can get in front of them.
And you do need, for your own prospects, for the Australian teams to beat each other up.
Yeah. I mean, it always, happens like that. So Firebirds play Vixens in a few weeks, so hopefully Vixens win that one. Sort of cancelling each other out would be good for us.
And the important thing is to back that up too. When you play the Magic, you're beating them here, to beat them again shortly.
Yeah, Magic are going to come out firing. I mean, they hated losing to us. It was a pretty intense game, and they're not, they didn't enjoy losing at all. So they're going to come back hard, and winning away from home is obviously a lot harder than winning at your own court. So we're going to have to bring our A game again.
It was a game of high quality at the weekend, though, wasn't it? Top-class players playing top-class netball. Yeah,
it felt like it was a good game. It was nice and clean, and some really good netball and some nice passes of play. So that's what you want to see, and hopefully we can have more games like that.
And keeping his goal scoring average up, all those little things could count in the end. Yeah,
we've talked about that all season. Like if you're winning, you need to keep the foot down and make sure you get up by more goals. So that's something we're well aware of, and in the past still have made the playoffs by goal diff. So it's always on the back of your mind as a player when you're playing out there on court.
And the usual unpredictability, the erratic results. We had the Pulse beating the Mystics by some margin last night.
Yeah, Pulse had a good win, and I think they're starting to show form. So they'll just probably keep rising from here, and it's going to make it for an interesting top four.
And in those chases for that fourth spot, effectively, you've got the Fever, and they seem to be a different team at home and away, don't they?
Yeah, they're hard at home, and we've got them at home in a few weeks, so it's going to be really tough for us to go over there and win. So they are a great side, and they're performing pretty well. They're not probably as consistent as a lot of the teams in the top four, but they're the sort of team that can knock anyone over on their good days, so they're going to be daunting over there.
This effectively could be the turning point of your season, this game, though, against the Vixens, isn't it, for your field position and your confidence?
Yeah, I think it is. I think coming off 4 wins in a trot, obviously we're confident, but it's a real big stepping stone for us if we could win on Aussie Store and beat the Vixens. So it's going to be tough, but it's a game that we know we can take if we tick all the boxes and prepare well and play good netball for 60 minutes.
So the Steel make the top four for the first time in 2013 and face third place Vixens next week to try and climb another rung on the ladder. The Magic have a game in hand on the only other true threats to the semi-finals berths in the Fever and Pulse. None of these teams can afford a slip in the run to the line, so the loser of that match between Pulse and Fever on Sunday will be cut adrift.